I don't go in there like I'm the authority, I'm the teacher. I'm like, I'm Miss T. Like, and you can come talk to me and whatever, because they do need that. So, and I do a lot with foster youth. So I appreciate that.
It goes a long way. And I did other
Mm,
jobs too, and it was hard. Like I got fired. I was a
right.
dishwasher. I was working in kitchens. I was like, this is not for me, man.
Hmm.
And so yeah, being able to relate to people that were like, this is how you do it.
Exactly. Hey everybody, it's your girl Lila Loca, and we're back with another episode of Loca's Vibe Check, where we sit down with artists, entrepreneurs, and business owners and talk about their contributions to the Bay Area. Today we have Dregs One.
What up, Lila?
Hey, welcome to the platform. He's coming all the way from San Francisco, and he's here in Fairfield with L3 Media.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. All right, so let's get into the artistry. So, how did you know that rapping was your lane, and who influenced that?
Yeah, basically, I was always into hip hop. It was like the soundtrack of the community, the neighborhood. It just spoke to me. It's like youth culture. So I was very young when I got into it. And then I got stuck on Too Short, Freaky Tales. And one night I was just stuck on that song. And the next day I went to school and I started making up little Freaky Tales raps about girls in class. And they actually liked it. And they're like, you're pretty good. And I was like, for real? And so that kind of like planted the seed. I
Mm-hmm.
had many influences, but just on my Bay Area stuff, I got to shout out Too Short for that.
For sure. And that could go anyway, so you good because girls would be like, ugh. So if they was fucking with it. You
Yeah,
already
they
know.
were laughing. I was saying freaky tale stuff, but they're like, oh, it's kind of like that. So it worked out.
All right, I love that. Okay, so how did growing up in the city, how did it shape who you are today? Because you do a lot of things in the community.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely part of growing up there is like you get a community influence. It's very important growing up there. You learn all the different cultures, Chinese, Filipino, Black, Mexican, Latino, Pacific Islander. You're around all that. So the city was like so influential to me because it wasn't just like growing up in any other place. We had everything going on. We had all the different cultural movements from back in the day. All the different types of people were out there. And it was just so fun. It's like a city that people go from all over the world to visit, but for us, it's our backyard.
Right.
So we would go downtown, we would go to Fisherman's Wharf, we would go to Golden Gate Park, we would ride the buses, and it was just so much fun. There was so much trouble to get into. There's so much to see. There's so much activity. It's definitely the good, the bad, and the ugly because San Francisco is also a crazy
Yeah.
place. If you've been there, you know. So it's like I will say that on the darker side of things, you see that too. You see it's drug infested. When I was young, it was gang infested, but at the same time, I learned how to like politic around all that
Hmm.
and see it for what it is. And on the community tip is like, everything is humanized with me, so I understand how these things affect people on a deeper level. It makes you want to get involved. It makes you accept people, and it just gives you a different outlook that really I don't think you can get anywhere else. So
Hmm.
that's why I represent San Francisco in
Period.
everything I do.
And I used to live in Vegas a lot. So when people would ask me, like, I'm not from the city or nothing, but I would tell them, I'm like, the Bay is so different. You could be riding a bar next. I mean, you could be, the CEO, and you could be sitting next to a crackhead. But it's like so mixed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or, like it's people might think it's like when I say like the city is very much city. Like Vegas is similar to that, but everybody out there thinks they're a celebrity. Out here, I'm like it's so mixed, and everybody is like more down to earth, I should say.
Yeah, it's the gigantic melting pot. Like
Mm-hmm.
just to your point, I have friends from all walks of life. I have friends from the projects, and I have friends whose families lived in mansion. We didn't really see it any different. Like if you were outside in those days, just literally going through the community, you just bump into people.
Exactly.
We all know each other. We're all like at least one person separated. So if I don't know you and you're from the city, I know somebody who knows you. So we really didn't. You learn to grow up like you don't see like the economic, the racial, cultural. You don't see any division. We're all together, and it's really a small city too. It's only 49 square miles, 7 by 7. So we're all just mixed up, and the BART train is a great example. Just you might
Exactly.
be squashed in there, all types of different characters.
So, aside from you being an artist, you are a community leader, I'd like to say,
I
or
was,
organizer.
you could say
He
organizer,
trying to be
sure.
humble, y'all.
Well, leader is like, I'm not leading. I mean, I appreciate the compliment.
But literally, though, because there's not a lot of people that's bringing these types of, programs or trying to do the things that, like you were talking about, History of the Bay Day, things like that into the city. So, leader, you just got to wear it.
I
You wear that
appreciate it.
badge.
Okay.
So, how did that start for you?
I was in, I was not the best student in high school. I was going through my own share of issues like any young person. So stuff in the house, stuff in school, stuff in the neighborhood. It just was a tough time being a teenager. And I got a lot of support from youth programs. Shout out Horizons Unlimited. They had a program called the DJ Project. That's where I learned how to make beats and record and stuff like
Nice.
that. And then I was at another place. It's no longer functional. It's called Golden Gate Community Incorporated. They gave me my first job, which was working for a bike shop in the Mission District and like repairing bikes and stuff like that. And it was all, I was like one of the younger people there, but it was like other young people, young adults who had like just got out of jail and stuff like that. So it was like kind of giving opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And once I learned like the job hustle, because that is a hustle in its own way of like resume, all that. You just got to know the game, and
Yeah.
I didn't really have to do some of the other stuff that other people I knew were doing in terms of other types of hustles. So I was in that program, and then they gave me a position working for that program, helping to develop a community center. So it was just dope. It's just like they made it look like relatable and dope. Like it was young people that were like trying to do positive things. And I was in there with all different types of kids. Like I said, that melting pot. So you had like, the 15-year-old with a son. You had like, little gang member chick. You had like all
Mm-hmm.
different types of personalities. And it gave me a resume. So
Right.
I, like 18 years old, I had a resume. I had job experience. So that led me to apply to work with youth programs, homeless youth, worked a lot in the Tenderloin, like supportive housing. And it just was always very fulfilling. And like I was always able to relate to the kids because I came from a similar background. So it wasn't nothing like, that's why like I shied away from the community leader thing because I wasn't like, I'm going to save the city. Like everybody, come on, follow me. Because you do get those personalities of people who
Yeah,
are like, they want to like put themselves at the forefront, and you have to like remove your ego from that type
for
of work.
sure.
So that's basically like the short version of how I got involved in that.
And when you said you already had a resume, so we were talking before when I was like, I've been working at the school and everything. So that's literally what I do. I try to get students work experience so that when they go out into the world, they already have, the experience. And a lot of people don't realize how important that is and why those programs really shape those students and the fact that you can relate to them. And I feel you on that. Like, I don't go in there like I'm the authority, I'm the teacher. I'm like, I'm Miss T. Like, and you can come talk to me and whatever, because they do need that. So, and I do a lot with foster youth. So I appreciate that.
It goes a long way. And I did other
Mm,
jobs too, and it was hard. Like I got fired. I was a
right.
dishwasher. I was working in kitchens. I was like, this is not for me, man.
Hmm.
And so yeah, being able to relate to people that were like, this is how you do it.
Exactly.
This
And
is
finding your lane,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
because a lot of them think jobs are just, like you said, a dishwasher doing this. They don't even know the type of jobs that are out there, like the things that
Yeah.
you're doing. So
Well, just to like, I don't want to go too deep, but just like,
go deep.
okay, let's go deep then. San Francisco is like gentrification. So we it's the tale of two cities. You got the tech money and you got the working class money, and we didn't have very many options. So when I was graduating from high school, if I use this example, if you had a job back in groceries, like you was doing it.
Right.
If you had a job working at Target, you was doing it, and it was like, bro, put me on. How did you do that? Like everybody was trying to get opportunities, and we didn't know the types of opportunities were out there. So in many ways, like, I was just blessed that I was part of these programs because I just had that example early on of like, this is how you do it, like you're saying.
So, what's one project that was super meaningful to you, or just made a lasting impact on how you view what you do today?
Project, like community project.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a few years. I was the youth coordinator in supportive housing unit. I don't want to shout out the program because I think the program was actually pretty shifty, but it's like poverty pimping going on. But I was basically in this building in the Tenderloin. It was for like youth and excuse me, it was for adults and families. So I was like, basically, there's all these kids in the building, in this apartment building, in the TL, and they have nothing to do. You know, they're just like literally like running around the hallways, but it's not safe hallways for them to be running around, and there's just no programs going. So like, I was working with kids from like 5 to like 18, and it was just very difficult struggles to where like I really had to play roles of like really being in their lives that they weren't getting from anyone else. So like, I was like teaching kids how to tie their shoes and like tell time, and then I'm taking other kids to go get their GEDs, and yeah, I was like kind of like damn near like family for some of these kids for a few years. So that was like it was a tough period in my life too, because I was working under oppressive conditions, and they like tried to fire me. I was doing all this work, and they're like trying to fire me over like paperwork and like inter office politics. So it was like,
If you ever watch, I'm always relating to that. I'm like, we just talked about that, not to cut you off, but we
no,
talked
good.
about the work culture can really make you hate your job. And it's not like I hate what I'm doing. I love it because I feel for the kids. I'm trying to help them. But it's the other people in the office that will really just try to fuck you over when you're really doing everything that you can. You're going above and beyond, honestly.
Yeah, these things exist in every part of society. It's really like dog eat dog, whether it's the music industry, whether it's education, whether it's the law, whether any field you want. So you really have to navigate around people. And for me, that was especially challenging because I'm dealing with like heartbreaking situations every day, parents on drugs, all types of just crazy. It's like crack being sold openly in front of the building. I gotta like go through this every day. So it was like not the brightest time in my life in some sense, but I'm glad I did it, and I feel like I made an impact. But all these experiences later motivated me to do what I'm doing now, which is like I don't have a job. I just do Dregs One. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Which is a blessing. You know?
Yes.
So you have that lasting, or those feelings that lasted with you throughout these years. What's the feedback that you've gotten from the youth, from your contributions?
Um. I mean, sometimes it's hard for children to put these things into words, but you know, I'm still in touch with some of them.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm still in touch with some of them, and you just know what time it is. It's like you share a real bond, and it's sometimes it's temporary because it's like I can't be. This is my job, so I can't like be in your life forever. So you kind of have to accept that time for what it is. But to this day, like I don't like to brag on it. You feel me? So like, but yeah, there's a lot of youngsters walking around. I'll run into them, and
That's
yeah,
when you said you're not going to be in their lives forever. And it's sad because you would like, it's like you know, you the homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a student right now. She talking about when I graduate, I need your phone number. I'm like, well, we not friends, but I
yeah,
do care for you a lot.
yeah,
So, but it's hard to tell them that, or have to let them know, like, because you don't want them to make feel like this was just a job, I just was doing my job. It's like, no, I do care about you, but
you have to have certain boundaries.
you do.
Because you can't save everybody. You can't take all these things on. But if you have a like, just saying for me, the people that made an impact when I was young, I remember that to this day. So I would like to hope that I did that for some of these youngsters out there, and some of them are like grown as hell now. They got kids, and I still see them. So that's a beautiful thing.
Well, I'm going to say thank you on behalf of them. You said it's hard for them to put it into words, but I'm pretty sure it's just thank you.
I appreciate that.
So let's switch over to History of the Bay,
Sure.
your podcast. So what made you start that?
I was doing music for a long time. I'll give you like the real quick version of it, but like I was about to quit. Like I'm finna just do my 9 to 5 thing, my education thing. I'm done, and then I just got like a spark where things started picking up. I started getting more success than ever. So, and I was getting better at it, and I was like, well, why stop? So then I got much more business minded. Like I said, I was doing these jobs, I was going to school, I was doing many other things. I was never really full time. It was like my main hobby, my main interest, and I was making plays, but I wasn't like full time. Like I have to do, like this is it.
Mm-hmm.
But I reached that point where I'm like, nah, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
Especially during the pandemic, I was like, no, I gotta do this. Like this
Right.
other stuff is not making me happy. Like I gotta do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like trying to just get my weight up, get my motion up. I'm like, this is not cutting it. I need the money. I need the, you know what I mean? I need the reputation. I need the success. You know what I mean? You don't want fame, but
For
like
real.
I need more people to know who I am because I'm dope.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I got to get my social media up. So I sat down with a social media consultant, and she was like, you need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, all right, I don't really know what it does. She said, go on there and, look at other stuff that you like on TikTok. I said, all right. And I seen these dudes, shout out to the broadcast boys. They were talking about sports, like sports trivia, like the top 10 draft picks or like funny stories or just like interesting pop culture things. And I was like, well, what if I just did that with the stuff that I like, which is graffiti and Bay Area hip hop? And long story short, I did it and it like popped off immediately and it started blowing up. And I took that and I was like, cool, now let me start my podcast so that I can sit down with the people that are also part of these stories and get their perspective.
Right.
And then we turned it into the day party, History of the Bay Day. And yeah, it's just been moving ever since. That's the very quick version of it.
I love that. Because a lot of people don't even know the history of it or a lot about the Bay in general outside of the Bay Area. Like when people think about California, they think about LA.
Absolutely.
So we needed a little more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like I said, growing up here, I was exposed to all of this. So it's like, it's a passion for me. I grew up in a neighborhood where this was going down. I saw these rappers my whole life. I saw this graffiti happening my whole life. I just saw the culture and I'm like, I know this is dope. And maybe you know this is dope and maybe my friends know it's dope, but the rest of the world needs to know. And I do have people that follow me from Europe and Asia and Mexico and LA and New York and Texas. So it's reached a pretty large audience.
On one of your podcasts, you were talking about highlighting Black and Brown communities. So let's talk a little bit about that and how music and, what you're doing right now is assisting those communities.
Okay. Well, my father's Black, my mom's white. So I was always and people don't know what the hell I am. They take any type of guess.
I thought you was Puerto Rican.
I heard that before too. I've heard it all. I've heard Latin, I've heard Samoan, Tongan, Hawaiian. I've heard everything there is imaginable. So I get along with everybody.
Right.
I don't know if that's why, but I think for some reason, like people just relate to me on that level. So I see culture, but I don't see racial barriers. And like I said, in San Francisco, that's just how I grew up. Like we function with everybody. Like I grew up, again, Chinese folks, gung hey fat choi, Chinese New Year, red envelopes. I grew up with that. Same thing. I grew up with people who only speak Spanish. Dude on the baseball team just got here from Nicaragua. He don't know no English. It's all good. Come with us.
Yeah.
So I just feel like And at the same time, I'm very proud of my roots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was raised by a very strong black man, and my mother's side of the family, her roots in Italy and Norway. I got straight Viking blood in me. I'm cool with that too.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I just think it's a beautiful thing when we're able to like see our differences in terms of like, okay, our culture is like this, your culture is like that, but we all come together because we're dealing with the same issues, the same things that affect the black community, affect the Latin community, pretty much across the board. And I feel like lately I've just been seeing more division with through social media specifically, to where it's more divided. So I just try to like. I think one thing that's unique about what I do with my podcast and everything is I rock with everybody.
Right.
I have guests from all different types of backgrounds, and I appeal to a wide audience. And I think it's just dope to learn about other people's culture and celebrate other people's culture, and it don't take nothing away from your culture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as my identity, like as you can see, like I'm very comfortable and confident with who I am and what my roots are, and I'm all about that as well. So I don't. It once I have that confidence, it's nothing for me to embrace
Right.
somebody else.
Exactly. And like you said, it's a big melting pot. So it's impossible, or it'll just be, ineffective to, not embrace everybody that's there, because I really think that's what San Francisco is about, or the Bay Area in general.
The Bay in general, for
Yeah.
sure. There's no other place like it. I've never seen as much diversity lumped together.
Lumped together. Because I was going to
Yeah.
say maybe New York, but I feel like they're divided sometimes. You know
They're
what I
lightweight
mean?
divided, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. There's certain neighborhoods you go, it's just like this is what it is.
Right.
That's all it is over there, and you gotta take a strike to get to anything else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But shout out to New York too. I
Yeah.
feel like it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, from an artist's perspective, what do you think, that they need to do more for the youth, or that the youth needs from them in these communities, especially the Bay Area? We have a lot of, people that are pretty talented getting up there and stuff, but, how would them integrating what they do with the youth benefit the youth?
I'll just go ahead and say that from my observation, everybody's in it for themselves right now. And people can say, oh, I'm doing it for my city, I'm doing it for my hood, I'm doing it for the Bay. And in that case, actions speak louder than words. And I don't like to brag on what I do because I'm a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there's shortcomings that I have. So I don't like to point out other people's shortcomings, but I do think everybody is in it for themselves right now. Everybody is into self promotion, which to a degree you have to be, right? Because ain't nobody else gonna take care of you. My thing though is I came up in the era where people was really from the soil. So you would see, like, I didn't see rapping Forte in Filmo with my own two eyes, like as a kid, like, oh damn, like he's out here, like celebrity status, you know what I
Right.
mean? And I think that type of presence, you have to just stay rooted to some degree to where there's some level, even if it's limited, of just access.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the least you could do is just be accessible to people from who come from where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have so they have some direct connection to you, so they can see with their own two eyes what's possible.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna do backpack giveaways or what I do with programs and workshops, and that's fine. But think I think it would serve a lot of rap cats in the Bay to use their influence to just show people some what they can achieve.
So, what advice would you give to young creatives that are still growing?
I would say just give it everything you got and just stay on it every single day and just be tunnel vision. Don't look at outside validation. Don't blame nobody else. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just do you 24/7, as I said, which sounds like contradictory what I just said, self-interest, but no, like sharpen your sword and just give it everything you got. You have to put your 10,000 hours in. You have to put your work in. I use the example of like going to medical school. You can't be a half-time, part-time doctor.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to be a doctor, I study like 2 hours a week, whatever. Nah, like you're in medical school, dog. Like that's like 10 years of your life every day. You have to do that with your craft and just give it everything you got.
I like that. So when you were going back and saying everyone's in it for themselves, and I've seen it. But what keeps you grounded as a person? You're pretty humble, but what keeps you that way?
I mean, man, I seen a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Smoke and mirrors. I seen, they say don't meet your heroes. I be seeing people where it's like, ooh, I don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
I seen people where it's like, you got all the success, you got money, you got fame, like people that you would know if I said their name and be like, damn, you're still miserable, bruh. Like I just don't want that to be me. For me, like, I love it when I be around my city and I see young kids. It's like Dregs. It happens to me all the time. And that trips me out because I'm like, damn, it's like I said with seeing Fote earlier or San Quinn or Selsky. Like, I want that type of experience. I want to be, it's just good for your longevity.
Right.
People want to support somebody that is like, gives it back to them. So I get a lot out of that. Like, I think of I'm very in tune with my inner child, my inner youth, that kid that was getting that girl saying freaky tail raps and writing graffiti and all that, and struggling and having my own struggles and going through stuff. I'm very in tune with that kid. He's still very much inside of me. So if I see that kid in other people, I want to try to approach him the same way I would approach, I would want myself. And not even just kids, just people, period. You want to make people feel special, especially when they take time to recognize you or acknowledge you. You inviting me to be on your platform, like, oh, that's an honor. I want to make sure I show up and make the most of that. You know what I mean? I don't want to show up and then the cameras turn off and you're like, damn, that dude's an asshole.
Yeah. Because
that happens to me all the time. Not a good feeling, you know what I mean?
It ain't happened to me yet, but I'm like, I'm not looking forward to that at all. Yeah, let's knock on some wood. Nah. Speaking of your younger self, if you could tell your younger self anything, what would you say?
Just don't stop. Same advice. Just don't stop, bro. Keep creating. Just keep going. Just go. Tunnel vision. Cool. You got a little 9-to-5 job. Get your money. Go back to the studio. You can do this. Just like when I think of what I do now, where I just get paid off of art and videos and music, and I meet all people I grew up looking up to, and I hang out and I do cool stuff all day. Like 14-year-old me would have never imagined that. But I would say, man, imagine that.
Yeah.
And go for it. That's you. You can do it.
It's yours
go
already.
Even bigger. Go bigger.
I love that. All right. Well, those are my questions for today. I'm so happy that you came by. You definitely passed the vibe check for sure.
Woo.
For sure. That means a lot here. But thank you for coming by and coming to my platform. Like you said, it was an honor for you to be here. It was an honor for you to be here for me as well. So
I appreciate it. Yeah. Keep me posted and keep doing your thing. And I look forward to seeing this platform grow and continue.
All right. Thank you. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Loca's Vibe Check. Do not forget to check it out on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Prime.